After 65, many people begin to ask new questions, not just about health or retirement, but about meaning, about joy, about how to wake up each day with something to look forward to, even in the face of slower steps, quieter homes, and the changes that come with time. This stage of life, often mislabeled as a winding down, can actually become a time of deep richness and renewal. But only if we choose it. Only if we make space for small, consistent habits that nurture the mind, the body, and the spirit. That's what today's video is about. 7 simple habits that can bring real joy to life after 65. They aren't about chasing youth or ignoring reality. They're about stepping fully into the season you're in, with intention, wisdom, and heart. Before we begin, I want to ask you for 3 small things that can make a big difference. Like this video, so more older adults can discover tools for finding joy in their everyday life. Subscribe, because every week we're building a space where elder wisdom is honored and joy is prioritized. Comment below, what's one habit or small ritual that brings you peace or happiness these days? You never know who might be inspired by your answer. Let's begin, because it's never too late to feel more alive. And the path to joy, more often than not, begins with something small. 1. Begin each day with stillness before the world enters. One of the most overlooked, yet most powerful habits you can adopt after 65 is this. Start your day in silence, with yourself before anyone else's voice enters. Before the television, before the phone, before the noise of the day. So many seniors wake up and go immediately into reaction mode. Checking the weather, taking medications, turning on the news, answering a spouse, replying to a message. But what if, instead, the first few minutes of your day were given back to you? Given to your breath, to your thoughts, to your heart? This stillness doesn't need to be complicated. You don't have to meditate for an hour or recite ancient verses. It can be as simple as sitting by a window, wrapping your hands around a warm mug of tea, and quietly asking yourself, what do I need today? Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, energetically. For some, it may become a time of prayer. For others, a quiet moment of gratitude, or simply staring out the window and allowing the light to touch your skin before the outside world intrudes. This is not a performance. It's a practice. A way to honor the fact that you're not just a body moving through the day, but a soul that deserves space to be still. You might think, but what difference could 5 minutes really make? Here's the truth. How you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. When you begin in calm, your responses are gentler. Your breathing is deeper. Your pace becomes more intentional. Your heart is less reactive. It's a sacred pause, a reset, a small, daily act of reclaiming your inner world in a world that's always rushing outward. And if you're thinking, I've never done that, I don't know how, then you're not alone. Many of us were raised to jump into the day without reflection. But you can begin tomorrow. Just 3 minutes. Sit, breathe, feel the chair beneath you. Let yourself arrive before you begin. If you already have a quiet morning habit, share it below in the comments. Your ritual might give someone else the courage to start. And if this message resonates with you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Because in the next habit, we'll talk about something equally powerful, but very different. The act of moving your body every day, not for strength, but for joy. Stay with me. You're building a foundation for a more joyful life, one choice at a time. 2. Move your body every day, not for strength, but for joy. There's a moment in many people's lives, often after retirement, sometimes after an illness, when movement stops being natural and starts to feel like a chore. You may think to yourself, I'm too old for that now, or my body doesn't move like it used to. And that's true. But here's something even more true. Movement isn't just about staying fit. It's about keeping your spirit awake. You don't have to lift weights or run laps. You don't need to sign up for a fitness class or buy special shoes. You simply need to find a way to move your body that brings you comfort, presence, and, yes, joy. Joyful movement might look like a walk around the block with a friend, where the rhythm of your steps becomes a form of quiet conversation. Gentle stretches by your bedside every morning, where your body remembers how to open. Dancing to music you loved when you were young, not for exercise, but for the memories it awakens. Water aerobics or swimming, where your joints feel free again. Gardening, bending and rising, placing your hands in the soil, reconnecting with the pulse of the earth. Even slow, intentional movement in your living room. Arms reaching, shoulders rolling, just enough to say, I'm still here. I still belong in this body. The point isn't to look younger or become stronger. The point is to stay in relationship with your body, to remind yourself that you still live here, that your body, however changed, is still capable of moving in ways that feel good, maybe even sacred. Daily movement keeps the blood flowing, the joints lubricated, the heart supported, but it does something else too, something more powerful. It keeps your agency alive. Every time you move on your own terms, you tell the world, I am not done yet. If you've been sedentary for a while, start small. Even 5 minutes counts. Walk through your hallway. Sit in a chair and stretch your arms above your head. Put on a song and sway. Don't think of it as exercise. Think of it as remembering that your body, no matter its age, was made to move. And if you already have a movement routine that lifts your mood, tell us about it in the comments. Someone else may read your words and be inspired to try something new. Like this video if this reminder feels important to you. And make sure you're subscribed because next we'll talk about a different kind of nourishment, feeding your joy through connection, even when the world feels distant. The most joyful seniors aren't the strongest or the fastest. They're the ones who keep reaching out. We'll talk about how to do that next. 3. Make one meaningful connection each day, even if it's small. Loneliness can creep into life quietly after 65. Friends move away. Loved ones pass. Children grow busy with lives of their own. And the days, once filled with noise, laughter, or routine, can begin to feel still. But here's something vital to understand. Connection doesn't have to be loud or long to be powerful. One of the most joyful habits you can adopt is this. Intentionally create one moment of connection each day. Just one. A phone call, a handwritten note, a kind word to a neighbor, a prayer for someone far away, a short visit, a shared story, a smile across the grocery aisle. What matters most isn't the size of the connection. It's the intention behind it. Because every time you reach out, you remind yourself that you're still a part of something bigger than yourself. And in return, you give someone else the gift of being seen. This habit doesn't mean you need to be social all day. For many older adults, especially those who live alone, large social gatherings may feel overwhelming. That's okay. Joy is found in the quality of connection, not the quantity. You might begin by calling one person every afternoon, or writing a letter once a week to someone you haven't spoken to in a while, or sitting beside someone at church and asking how they've been and really listening to the answer. Connection also isn't limited to people you know. Even a short conversation with a stranger, the mail carrier, the woman in line ahead of you, the child next door, can remind your heart that it still matters, that it still has something to offer. And don't underestimate the power of being the one who reaches out first. So many people are waiting for someone else to call, to ask, to care. Let that someone be you. If you felt isolated lately, just know you are not alone in that feeling. And you don't have to stay there. Start small, one moment a day. Let joy find its way back to you through connection. In the comments, tell us one person you might reach out to this week. You never know who else might be inspired by your plan to reconnect. If this message touched you, like the video now and subscribe because coming up next, we'll talk about the quiet power of creating something with your hands and how that simple act can stir joy in places you didn't even know were empty. Keep watching. You're not just passing time. You're building a more joyful life, one small habit at a time. 4. Create something with your hands, not to impress, but to express. There's a kind of joy that doesn't come from conversation or exercise or even rest. It comes from creation, from taking something raw, yarn, dough, paper, wood, soil, and turning it into something real, something shaped by your own hands. This kind of joy is deeply rooted in human nature, and after 65, it becomes more important than ever. In a world that often moves too fast, where so many things are automated or disposable, creating something by hand is an act of quiet rebellion. It says, I am still capable of making beauty. I am still a source of imagination and purpose. You don't have to be an artist. You don't need to sell your work or even show it to anyone. All that matters is the act itself, the process, the attention it requires, the presence it invites. What can you create? Knit a scarf or a blanket, stitch by stitch, as you listen to the rain outside. Bake bread, feeling the dough come alive beneath your fingers. Tend a garden, whether in your backyard or in a single pot, and witness something bloom because of you. Write letters by hand, not for email, not for social media, but as gifts of ink and time. Paint, carve, build, arrange flowers, scrapbook, restore furniture, so it doesn't matter what you choose. What matters is that your hands stay busy with something that feeds your soul. You may discover something else along the way, too. When your hands are at work, your mind slows down. Your breathing steadies. Worries fade. That constant hum of noise we all carry becomes quiet. And in that quiet, joy slips back in. This habit doesn't just bring satisfaction, it brings healing. It can ease anxiety, sharpen focus, improve dexterity, and remind you that even in a world where you're no longer working full-time, you still have something to give, something to shape. And if arthritis or mobility issues make certain crafts hard, don't give up. Adapt. Find simpler forms. Use larger tools. Ask for help setting up. The joy of creating is not limited by age, only by permission. And that permission must come from you. If you're already creating something regularly, tell us in the comments. What brings you the most joy? And if you haven't created in a while, what might you try? Like this video if you believe joy can live in your hands. And subscribe because in our next habit, we'll explore a quieter space yet. The healing habit of reflection and journaling, and why writing things down can unlock peace, clarity, and purpose in this powerful season of life. Stay with us. You're doing more than watching. You're reclaiming joy one habit at a time. 5. Reflect through journaling, even just a few lines a day. There's something sacred about putting pen to paper. Something honest. Something that slows the world down just long enough for you to hear your own voice again. And for those of us over 65, when the days begin to blend, when the world seems to move on without asking how we're feeling, journaling becomes a quiet but powerful habit, one that restores both memory and meaning. You don't need to write a novel. You don't need perfect grammar or poetic language. You just need a notebook, a pen, and the willingness to meet yourself on the page. What do you write about? You can write about anything. What made you smile today? What weighed on your heart? A memory that came back unexpectedly. A person you're missing. A worry you can't quite shake. Or simply, what you saw out the window this morning and how it made you feel. The point isn't to document every detail. The point is to connect with yourself. To give your inner life a voice when the outside world grows quiet. Because joy doesn't always roar in through laughter or music. Sometimes it comes in a whisper. And that whisper often shows up when you're writing something just for you. Journaling has also been shown to reduce anxiety, improve mood, enhance sleep, and even boost cognitive clarity. It creates a moment of pause, a moment that belongs only to you. And if your hands make it hard to write, consider recording your voice instead. Use a small recorder or a phone app and just talk. Speak your thoughts into the air. It's still journaling. It's still expression. It still matters. Some days you'll write half a page. Other days you'll scribble one sentence. And that's enough, because each entry is a thread, and over time, they weave a deeper connection with who you are and what still matters most to you. You might even choose to write letters you never sent, to someone you've lost, to your younger self, to the person you are becoming now. That kind of writing has a power all its own. If you kept a journal or thought about starting one, tell us in the comments. What would your first line be today? sharing it might inspire someone else to begin. If this message stirred something in you, like this video and subscribe, because in our next habit, we'll step outside the self into a practice that brings joy through meaning and service, giving back in small, intentional ways. Joy grows when we stop waiting for it and start giving it away. Let's talk about that next. 6. Give something small every day, a smile, a kind word, or a helping hand. After 65, it's easy to feel like the world has shifted its gaze elsewhere, that you're no longer in the center of things, that people are moving faster, living louder, and asking for less from you than they once did. But here's a quiet truth that holds great power. You still have so much to give, and giving in even the smallest ways brings deep joy. You don't need money. You don't need youth. You don't need to organize a big charity drive. The joy comes not from size, but from sincerity. A kind gesture, offered freely, has a ripple effect you may never fully see. Give a compliment to someone who looks tired. Offer a seat to someone who didn't ask. Call someone who might be feeling lonely. Hold the door a little longer than you need to. Share something from your garden with a neighbor. Thank the clerk at the store, not just politely, but truly. Send a birthday card when others forget. Pray for someone who never asked you to. Tell someone they did a good job, even if it was something small, especially then. These small acts may seem invisible to the world, but they are not invisible to the heart. Every time you give something, without being asked, without expecting anything in return, you water something inside of yourself. Something soft, something ancient, something joyful. Science supports this too. Studies have shown that older adults who engage in regular acts of kindness experience lower levels of depression, greater life satisfaction, and even better physical health. Why? Because giving reminds us we still matter. It affirms that we're still needed, still connected to the human family. And remember, giving doesn't deplete your energy, it generates it. Even a simple smile at a stranger can light up something inside of you. Because you're not done. You are not invisible. You're not on the sidelines. You still carry light. And someone, somewhere, is in the dark waiting for it. So here's a small challenge. Before today ends, give something, anything, to someone. And then tomorrow, do it again. Make it a habit, a way of being, a quiet rebellion against bitterness or isolation. Have you experienced the joy of giving recently? Share your moment in the comments. Your story may inspire someone else to reach out today. If this resonates with you, like this video and subscribe. Because in our final habit coming up next, we'll close with a return to something deeply personal, the decision to savor life, one moment at a time. Let's finish strong, because the joy you seek isn't in the distance. It's right here, waiting to be noticed. 7. Savor the present moment, because now is all we truly have. There comes a time in life, often after 65, sometimes sooner, when we begin to realize how fast it's all gone. Decades blur, faces change, people we thought would always be with us aren't. And in that space, many begin to look backward with longing or forward with fear. But joy, real joy, doesn't live in the past or the future. It lives here, right now. That's why the final habit, and perhaps the most life-changing, is this: learn to savor the present moment, to stop rushing through the hours, to pause long enough to feel the breeze on your skin, to notice the taste of your morning tea, to hear the sound of your own breath, and say, this is enough. Savoring doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means being fully awake to what is, to the small joys hiding in plain sight. The laughter of a grandchild, the smell of fresh laundry, the sun warming your hands through the glass, the song on the radio that takes you back to a dance hall in 1964, the silence that isn't empty, but peaceful. When you train yourself to savor, you begin to find joy in things others miss. You see beauty where others only see routine. You let go of needing more and finally feel the weight of enough. Try this. Once a day, stop what you're doing just for 1 minute. Look around. Choose one thing to notice. Really notice it. Let it fill your awareness completely. That's savoring. That's presence. That's joy, pure and quiet in yours. And when hard moments come, as they always do, this habit will become your anchor. Because even in grief, even in fear, there are still moments worth holding. A kind word, a steady hand, a quiet sunset, a second of peace. The most joyful older adults aren't those who've avoided pain. They're the ones who've learned to hold it alongside beauty and to keep choosing presence again and again. If you've experienced a moment of joy lately, a quiet one, a surprising one, share in the comments. Sometimes reading someone else's moment is the reminder we need to open our own eyes. And if this final habit spoke to you, please like this video and subscribe now. Because what we've built together isn't just a list, it's a way of living. A way of remembering that joy is not something you wait for. It's something you choose, nurture, and return to one simple habit at a time. Let's finish with this thought. You don't need to chase joy in big ways. You only need to say yes to it, right here where your life is still unfolding. And it is, even now, especially now. So here we are, at the end of this journey, but perhaps just the beginning of another. We've walked through 7 simple habits, not grand achievements or impossible goals, but small, steady choices that open the door to something many people give up on too soon. Joy after 65. Let's remember them together. Begin each day with stillness. Move your body, not for strength, but for joy. Make one meaningful connection, even if it's small. Create something with your hands. Reflect through journaling. Give something of yourself each day. And savor the present moment, because now is the only time joy can actually be lived. If there's one truth that runs through all of these habits, it's this: you are not done yet. Not with growing, not with giving, not with laughing or creating or discovering what makes your soul light up. Joy doesn't belong to the young. It belongs to the present. And the older we get, the more we realize that the smallest things, a kind word, a deep breath, a shared smile, are the things that last, the things that matter, the things that carry us. So let me ask you now, from one elder heart to another, which of these habits spoke to you most deeply? Which one will you begin tomorrow, or even today? Leave a comment below. Let your voice join the circle of wisdom we're building here. And if this video reminded you that joy is still yours to claim, do 3 simple things. Like this video, so others like you can find it and be reminded too. Subscribe, because each week we walk together through the real, raw, and beautiful truths of life after 60. Share this with someone you love, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, because joy, like wisdom, only grows when it's shared. Until next time, keep choosing joy, not because life is easy, but because you're still here and there is still so much good to notice, to create, and to give. This season of life is not a closing chapter. It's a quieter one, but no less powerful. Take care, keep walking forward, and never forget, joy is not behind you, it is still ahead.